coming up on Ostar, so we want to say happy Ostar to everyone. Sorry, I had to turn my phone off. Make sure that all the trials are muted. So happy Ostar, everyone. And when you come in, let me know that you are watching me live, and I want you to tell me what your plans for Ostara is. What are you going to be doing? In the academy, we are going to be doing a star flower spell or a bulb spell. So I'm super excited about spending time with my sisters in the academy, which is the high priestess of academy that we meet every Tuesday. So I'm super excited about spending time with my students in the academy. So let me know what you're doing for Ostara when you come in. The wheel is turning, right? So I'm not drinking anything special today. I'm not drinking anything special. It's just really just iced tea. So let's go ahead and get started. Let me read the comments. Oh, hello everyone. Thank you. Oh, hey, girlfriend, I haven't seen you forever. How you been? So glad you can join me live. Hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're catching me live, if you're catching me on the replay, hit hashtag replay. I do give you some replay love. I try to reply to everybody with any questions that they have. I'm sorry if I missed some of y'all. I have a lot of questions from my Facebook group, from the Facebook page, and also from my YouTube channel. So I try to answer everybody. So if you have any questions after, make sure that you put them in the comments so I can reply to them. So today we are going to actually talk about some controversial kind of topics. Being in line with spirit communication, a lot of my students, that was itching, y'all. A lot of my students and clients have been asking me about spirit communication. I've been doing a lot of series on spirit communication. So I wanted to jump right in because a lot of them are going to be working with Ouija boards, and they want to know about friendly or demonic energies versus malevolent energies. So we're going to be working on all of that in the challenge that is coming up. Let me check my calendar. April 12th through the 16th is the Spirit Communication Challenge. And I will leave all that information in the comment section or in the description about how to sign up for that. Because we are going to be talking a lot about different types of spirit communication and what you're going to run into. The difference between malevolent and demon possessions. Is it a demon? Is it just an evil, nasty spirit? We're going to be talking about a lot of that in the challenge. So make sure that you click that link in the description to join us in that challenge, because we're going to be talking a lot about that. So I'm going to be talking about the 3 ways I can tell if a person is possessed. You're excited about this one. I am too. I have to adjust my camera. I tend to always look down. I need to look up. So we're going to be talking about the 3 ways to tell if a person is possessed versus like just a malevolent kind of energy or nasty evil kind of entity or spirit versus an actual demon. My students ask me, how can you tell? So let me give you my top 3 tips on how I use the tools to tell if a person's actually possessed. So the first one is to use a protective item. Now, a protective item is any kind of item that you have blessed with positive energy. Okay. And what I usually do, for an example, you can use an amulet, you can use a stone, you can use a cross. If you're into the cross, you can use a triquetra symbol, you can use a pentagon symbol. Whatever you deem that has been consecrated, cleansed, and invoked with positive energy is what I call a protective item. You can actually use sacred water, and you will see this, like, people who study Catholicism or the Catholic Church will use holy water. Now, you don't necessarily have to use holy water. I use blessed or sacred water. You can use moon water, dark moon water, full moon water, any kind of blessed water even from a blessed well that you have deemed and infused with positive energy, is a protective item. And what I usually do is I put the protective item behind them, the back of the head, at the base of the head, without them knowing, because you kind of want to kind of sort of catch them off guard, and just to see how they react. The demons will enter through the back of the head. Okay, so you want to take the amulet, the water, whatever you have deemed your sacred item to use when trying to see if a person is possessed, and place it, or kind of like put it close to the base of the neck to see how they react, and pay attention to their reaction. If they pull away, if they snarl, if they like crawl up, they try to like protect themselves, if they convulse a little bit, if they just feel uneasy, then that is a sure sign that they are possessed. Now, on the flip side, okay, you can also use non-protective items just as like a blind study, or to make sure. And a non-protective item would just be some regular item that you haven't even blessed, you haven't even infused with positive energy. For example, just instead of using blessed water, just use tap water. Or just use some kind of, amulet that, you have that has not been charged, or deemed sacred for this type of work, and see how they react. So that way you might kind of like trick them. I don't say trick them, but get another reaction out of them, so you can actually say, all right, this is the protective item, and this person reacted to this. And I'm going to say this is a protective item, but it's really not. And I'm going to see how they react to this. So it's kind of testing them blindly, like a double study, to see how they react. Pay attention. If there is no reaction, then they are not possessed. It's probably just a malevolent spirit. So make sure you take that protective item, like I said, and put it in the back of their head, near the back of the head. Watch how they react. Take mental notes. And then do a non-protective item and see how they react to that. Okay. And like I said, if they have no reaction, they are not possessed. Let me check up on comments. Super interesting, because I know you're like, I'm going to sneak up on the demon and see if what's going on. It's just a way to kind of catch them off guard. You don't want to be deceitful about stuff, right? But you kind of want to do your little a field study of what is going on around them and taking notes. And if they are totally aware of what's going on, then they might skew the results a little bit. So that's why it's important to just, do some of your studying kind of in secret, right? Did it? Yeah. I agree with that. So yeah. Uh-huh. Good point. I like that. I like that you started doing that also. Yeah, you can use any kind of amulet. You can use medicine bags if you have like medicine bags. You can use sacred herbs. You can use a wand. You can use a stone. You can use candles. You can use anything that you have deemed to work with this kind of energy and this kind of job. So number 2, this is a really interesting and simple one, is that the people who are possessed will not blink. So what I do is I'm, just sitting there talking to them, how, just small conversation, right? How are you feeling? What is going on with you? Tell me some of your symptoms, what makes you think you're possessed? And then all of a sudden I'll just like snap in front of their face, and I'm just snap, right? And I'll see the reaction. If they blink, which everybody should blink, because you're kind of catching them off guard, because you're like, I had this every, day conversation. We have a good conversation. All of a sudden your hand goes up and you snap in front of my face. You're going to like kind of react. It's instinctive that your eyes are going to kind of blink, right? If they are possessed, they will not blink. So that's another check that you want to put on your checklist that you're going to be going through if they are possessed or not. So if they do not blink, then they are pretty much possessed. So that's a real simple way to do it, because sometimes you don't have an amulet. Sometimes you may be in a situation where you don't have time to pull your amulet out or your protective object out, and you just want to snap your fingers at that moment. And that's a really good test to have. Yeah, it's simple. It's simple. It doesn't have to be what you see in the movies. It can be really, really simple, just like a snap of the finger. And that gives you kind of a baseline of if they're possessed or not. So number 3, you want to look for unexplained marks on their body. They have to be in places that they cannot do it themselves. All right, so you have a scratch on your arm. No big deal. You know, you may have scratched yourself when you're sleeping, or you unwillingly kind of, or knowingly kind of brushed up against something, or, you know, you just scratched in just everyday, you know, life, right? Or you just, I do this all the time. I always run into the corner of things and don't remember that I run into the corner of things. And then a bruise will show up and I'm like, where the hell did that come from? That kind of stuff is just normal. It has to be in places where they cannot inflict these kind of marks on themselves, like, you know, their upper back or their shoulder where they can't reach, or, you know, some kind of weird, usually it happens in the back, but because they can't manipulate their body to scratch themselves, that, so it's way sort of be in an odd place. So you're looking for scratches, and usually scratches will come in 3s, or any kind of mark will come in 3. So you're looking for that 3. It doesn't necessarily have to be the number 3. Just know that it comes in sets of 3. Okay, typically 3, but you may see 6, you may see 9, but they will come in always in sets of 3. So make sure you're looking for sets of 3. Another one is bite marks. Okay, and this is really good because a lot of times bite marks will happen on the back of the leg or the calf. So you want to be aware of that. Yeah, I've been touched a couple times when I'm doing paranormal investigations, and it wasn't a demon. And we'll talk about this a little bit because I've done a lot of investigation. It's very rare that you will come across a demon. More than likely, it is a malevolent spirit, or it's just a nasty person that hasn't crossed over. A demon is an entity that has never lived on this plane. Thank you for asking me that. I should have clarified that in the beginning. A demon is an energy that has never lived on this plane. And a demon is an energy that has never manifested in a physical body on this plane. They are what they call from another world. Sometimes people think they come from a different plane, a different parallel universe. They come from the realm of hell, if you believe in hell, or just a different spiritual realm altogether. But they have never manifested in what we know as this earthly plane. So they will never, ever be a spirit or a person who lived here in this life and then passed over. They have never, ever actually formed into a human body. So it is very rare that you will come across a demon. So don't be, this is why I wanted to do this and teach this class and give you the 3 tips, because you need to know if a person is possessed, because a lot of people will think they're possessed when really it's just an attachment or a negative energy and not a demon. So you have to know what the difference is, and so you can proceed in the correct manner. So you're going to look for unusual scratches, bite marks, and bruises. Now, bruises are normal. Every day we talked about that in bruising. You know, you bump up on things and you forget about it. But they have to be in places where they can't mark them themselves. You know, if they have a bruise on their leg, you're just going to be like, I'm going to note it, but I'm going to put a question by it because that could happen every day. Okay. So take notes Mental notes, I like to take a piece of paper and write down the things that I find so that way I won't forget them. Because when you're in the field and you're studying these things, you will forget some of this stuff. So make sure you take lots and lots of notes. So let's recap super fast. Number one, use a protective item. Whatever protective item you have deemed with positive energy to do this type of work is what you're going to be using. It could be an amulet of anything that you have deemed. It could be a stone, a sacred water. And you want to put the protective item near or behind their neck, because that's where the energy is going to, the demonic energy is going to be attaching and coming through. And you want to see how that person reacts to that amulet without them even knowing that you're really doing it. That's the key. Okay. Number two, do a test to see if they blink, snap your finger in front of it, get sassy, with that, say, what's going on? That kind of thing. And see how they react. If they don't blink, then it's a sure sign that they are possessed. And number three, look for the unexplained body marks, always in sets of three. Either bite marks, scratches, or bruises, always in sets of three. Okay, so don't forget that we are doing the Spirit Communication Challenge that is coming up in April, the 12th through the 16th. The description to join the challenge, and it's a 5-day challenge, is going to be in the comment or the description. You need to join that to sign up in order to receive your workbooks, in order to receive extra information that you're going to be using for the for the challenge. It's going to be happening in my Facebook group. So once you join in on the challenge, it should take you to a thank you page or confirmation page with all of the information on how to join the challenge. We're going to be talking about some of this stuff. We're going to be talking about demons. We're going to be talking about belief systems that you need to let go of, like working with spirit boards or talking boards. A lot of people like to name those or call those, instead of Ouija boards, spirit boards. Really just working on your clairs and coming out of that, and working on not being afraid of spirit communication, working with demons, possessions, non-possessions, house type of hauntings, how to use Ouija boards, what's your fear of using Ouija boards, what's your fear of spirit communication. So we're going to be doing this for 5 entire days. So join the Spirit Communication Challenge in April. And if you have any questions, let me know. Send me a message. I'll be glad to answer any questions that you have. So I hope this is helpful, especially when you are doing paranormal investigations or you are doing any kind of paranormal type of activities. So, all right, my witchy friends, we will see you in the next training, which is on Wednesdays, which I never